Hi, this is Holly Cobb. Just want to give you a current update on the Redmond market for July of 2025. Of course, we have to use the June data because July data won't be out until August. But let's just kind of go through and see what's been happening in Redmond. Um, Overall, the median price for Redmond homes that have sold is $530,000. We're spending about an average days on market of about 20. 80 homes have sold. And currently, we have about 4 months worth of inventory, which means that if we didn't have any more houses listed, then it would take about 4 months to empty out what we currently have. If we see how this has kind of changed over the last 5 years, of course, this was during the pandemic. We were looking at median home prices around 350, and everything went crazy. Everybody's homes were super expensive. And then we started coming back down a little bit. Um, Overall, our market in Redmond is staying somewhat consistent, and right now we're around the 537 mark. Back in June of or January of 2023, around this area, we were a little over 400, and then we're up to, like I said, 535, 537 now. Um, Median home prices around 530. Same as they were in June of 22. So we really haven't had much appreciation. That's pretty much a balanced market. We're kind of flat over the last 3 years. We've definitely had some dips in our prices down to 420 as a median home sell in January of 23. And we've gotten a little higher. In January of 25, we were seeing 562, but we're at 530 now, right where we were in June of 22. Also, what we're seeing, this is pretty indicative. Active list price. So we're looking at list prices. This is where the sellers want to list their prices. Whatever they're looking at, maybe they're seeing that the house probably should have appreciated in the last year. And like I showed you on the previous graph, that's not really happening very much. But this is what we're listing. We're starting, at around 580, and the sold median price is around 530. So that's about a $50,000 difference between what the list price is and what they're actually selling for currently. The absorption right now, we're still around that 4%. That's June of 25. Last year, we were around 4.86%. So we actually don't have as many houses sitting on the market as we did in June of last year. Average list price right now, June of 25, this chart says 671 is a list price. June of 24, we're looking right at 6,000. And then we're back down to the sale price. Median sale price in June of 2025 is around 530. Median sale price in June of 2024, a year ago, is 540. So we're about $10,000 or about 2% difference than we were last year. Average days on market for June of 25 is 54. June of 24 was 58. We really are not seeing a whole lot of change year over year right now in the Redmond market. This particular chart, these are really, really hard to see numbers, but this is the amount of homes sold between the 250 and 300 range in the last 12 months. It's only 4. This price range, this is between 450 and 500,000. And that number is 155. So 155 homes in the last 12 months have sold between $450 and $500,000. Currently, the sales in the last month, the month of June, in that price range was 19. Between 550 and 600 is 9. So these are all $50,000 increments right here. So you can kind of get an average of what has been sold as the gray, what's currently listed as the green. You see an awful lot of green listed and very little sold. And same in these other priced markets. And I think what's really important to note is that the number of homes with price reductions over the past year. In June of 2025, we had 172 price reductions. In June of 24, we had 132 price reductions. That's going back to that other chart where we're showing that the house prices are listed so much higher than they're actually selling for. So basically, overall in our market, we're seeing an average rate. We're staying pretty steady. Not a whole lot of fluctuation over the last even 2 years. So just hold tight. It's definitely a good time to buy right now because sellers who need to sell really need to get it sold, and they're willing to, negotiate a little bit more than they probably were a year ago. As for the sellers, if you get an offer, that might be your best offer. You might want to take your first one, but it's certainly worth talking to someone who's experienced with it and knows the tools of a negotiation. But as for what's happening in Redmond, I'm sure you've probably driven down Black Butte and Antler. So this area right here is the skate park. That's the skate park here. You got the dog park over here in the canyon. And you've probably seen all this construction here and the gates up. It really is impeding traffic on this little narrow 2-lane road because on the other side, we also have construction going on. So if you're not hitting the cones on this side, you're probably going to get the ones on the other side. What's happening here is they're making an expansion area for parking. And it's over several phases. I'll show you in the next slide the phases that they're going through, but this is the current section they're working on. All of this red is where you just can't get to. So the road you used to come down to get to Sam Johnson Park, right there next to the skate park, you can't get there. So you need to walk up here and then down around Canyon here, and then you can come back in the backside. Vehicle access is also in that area. And then you have some pedestrian access here around the park, of course. And here's the high school. So you can still walk in those areas. You just have to be careful of where these red areas are and just realize you might have some delays. Currently, they're working on this phase 1 and some of the phase 2 right now. Phase 3, there's a Hope Playground. That's right there in Sam Johnson Park. They're looking to start that portion right in the next little bit. Phase 4, Sam Johnson parking lots and the Rimrock Path. That's estimated to start in the fall of 25, which is down in here. And hopefully by summer of next year, all of this will be done. So if the dust is bothering you right now, just wait. It's not going to get any better. And as always, if you have any questions about buying or selling, investing in Central Oregon, especially in Redmond, give me a call. I'll be happy to talk to you. Let's find your place.